Okay, so it's a very fun-driven event. It is going to be live for last upcoming like for 1 hour, 1 hour plus. So this is basically a Zilla of Kubernetes cluster, right? And so I'll just give a brief what I know. Then I'll go over to Ajeet. So he'll be explaining more about that. So what I am excited about this is like I've never seen such event where we are going to add thousands of nodes and it's a like open event, right? So where anyone can come and can join their worker node and can see the fun, what application we have deployed and how they can enjoy it. So it's like everyone can join to this. Okay, so now coming to that point, to the excitement, like today morning, so we have a production like scenario today. To give you update, yesterday everything was working fine, good, and then all of a sudden something goes down, and we have a very beautiful like team, which was working from the morning till now, and they are like community contributors, right? And they have done a tremendous job to bring up the new cluster within a span of few hours. So you can think of how cool is that, how cool they have contributed, and it's a effort from the contributors, right? So anyone can join and contribute. So I would name few of the one core contributors to this event, and I especially thanks to them. So it's this setup was lead by Ajeet, Apurva, Hari, Minachi, Darshan, Anmol, Naresh, Rahul. I believe I have taken few of the names which have contributed tirelessly from last few days and make this infrastructure up, right? And I'm really excited to see further. Yeah, so this is brief about what about I am aware of that right now, and I'm now going to put to Ajeet right now. So Ajeet, over to you. I'm very excited to know how you came up with Kubezilla. What makes you driven to start with this effort, Kubezilla, and give us a brief on that so that every audience will aware of that and they can also contribute on that. So over to you, Ajeet.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Vinay. Thanks, Savita. So, can you guys hear me?
Yes, very well, we can do.
Okay, fine. So, first of all, thanks to the audience for being here till now. So, Kubezilla was one of the concept. It came to my mind around 3 weeks back, and the whole idea was, to bring all the community members and to bring them under one platform, and we can go ahead and create a kind of a largest Kubernetes cluster, and I call it as the largest Kubernetes community cluster. So the idea is, there has been a lot of Kubernetes cluster which is running across the globe, maybe inside the data center. And we have been conducting a kind of a lot of workshop around it. So in the month of Jan, Feb, in the month of, I think, December and Jan, last year, we did a kind of Cube Labs, which is basically, there were around 500 people who were running a workshop, and it was like, it went till around till evening, till late evening, right? And we were trying to build the Kubernetes cluster. So I came up with the idea saying, like, why not involve all and let them learn how Kubernetes works? And that basically inspired me to go ahead and announce a kind of a Kubezilla. To just give you an idea about around, if you go back around 4 years ago, we did a Swarmzilla. And the interesting fact about the Swarmzilla was we were able to reach 90,000 containers, okay, over 3,000 nodes. So this was one of the effort which was led by one of the Docker captain, and we got a lot of good sponsorship from the companies like Sematext, even DigitalOcean was also there. And what happened? It was very early day for products like Kubernetes, Prometheus. I still remember that in 2016, I was in one of Bird of Feathers round, and the Prometheus founder was sitting beside me, and suddenly there was like I was talking to him, and there was a lot of interaction which was going on, and soon after that we conducted this Swarmzilla, and the thing which happened is, like, when we crossed around 90,000 plus container services, right? after that, the Prometheus suddenly crashed. But our Swarm cluster was still up and running. And that was, I would say, not even 1.0 version of Prometheus, right? It was really in kind of an alpha stage. So, suddenly what happened earlier this year, I thought that, okay, there should be one way where I can go ahead, bring the community together. And in our Slack itself, we have around 3,500 people. So why not go ahead, bring all those community members together and then try to build a kind of Kubernetes cluster over a public network. And that is the whole idea of this. So the whole aim is to set up one high availability multi-master configuration and then let the users at the other end, it could be anything related to, it could be a kind of a cloud instances, or it could be a Docker desktop, or it could be any Linux machine sitting on inside your lab, or even it could be a kind of an IoT device which can be connected. And last week on 21st, we went ahead, we tested it. And based on that, we were able to connect all those diversified cloud instances as well as IoT devices into the Kubernetes cluster. So it was complete fun.
Yeah, great, Ajeet. So the thing is, how should community, or how will community can contribute in this? Like, I mean to say, like, to Kubezilla. I believe it's open to all, right? So how anyone can come and how he can join this community, or when he can contribute.
Okay, so this is if you can see the slide, right? All they have to do is just 2 simple steps. First, you need to have a kind of a Docker which has to be installed. So if you are on your Mac or Windows, you will have Docker. You need to install a Docker desktop, or it could be any of the Linux machine. In terms of IoT, just you run curl and get.docker.com, and that's it. You install a Docker on top of it, and then most probably if you go to the GitHub repo, so I will go through the GitHub repo later point of time. So you just have to go ahead and run a Docker container, which is like a rancher based container, which has a kind of a token inside it. And usually how we use a kubeadm, right? In the similar way, we just have to join it with a token and you are done. And that's how you connect it.
Okay. So next thing, I would like to know how it is different from other activities, which is right now driven over the internet. Like, there are many events which drives Kubernetes clusters, and how it is going to help the community. What they can get something new here. So you can help them to understand that why we have come up with this, right?
Okay, fine. So as I said, right, you will see a couple of say dozens of, you might be hearing about dozens of stories around how you can set up a Kubernetes cluster over the private network. Because if you see most of these Kubernetes cluster might be in terms of 50s or 100s or 200s, right? I heard about Google setting up around 15,000 nodes. Okay. But that is again not a community cluster. So this is a first of the community cluster which we are trying to set up. And during this course of time, it is not just restricted to one company, or we are just doing it for companies or cloud vendor like DigitalOcean. It is open to all. So even if you are sitting on Google Cloud, or if you are in AWS Cloud, or if you are even on the Jetson board, right? You should be able to contribute, because unless and until one requirement is your firewall has to be, certain ports has to be open, and the firewall has to be disabled. Other than that, there is nothing which is stopping you to go ahead and add the nodes. So the only difference is like all of the Kubernetes cluster which you hear are more very centric to one cloud, but here we are talking about the diversified cloud.
Yeah. So that sounds great, actually. So we are not limited to particular cloud vendor, or we are not limited to any on-prem environment. We are open to all. And as you said, right, we are open to even the IoT devices, and that is very interesting thing. So it's a fun-driven activity, I believe, right? Anyone can come and can connect their Raspberry Pi or any IoT device, and then they can enjoy fun. And adding to that, if they face any issue, we are running a huge community right now, and they can come anytime and can post these queries. So there is a team or there are community members who can answer their queries. Am I right, Ajit?
Yeah, you are absolutely right.
Great, thanks. So that's all about Kubezilla. So now, moving to the part, now I'll ask few of yeah, so I'll ask a few of the team members, right? So we have a team right now, which is on the call right now. So, so Apurva, Ajit, Darshan, Minachi, anyone can let me know, like, the very first thing when they have to set up HA cluster, or we'll take a morning scenario, right? As I described, today we face downtime, and in this industry, whenever all things are going happy, all are happy, but all of a sudden you face this downtime. So first thing I just want to know, or maybe audience want to know, how they have come up with the like master node setup. What all they have taken in design, or what all they have taken in consideration for setting up this huge cluster. So Ajit, Apurva, anyone can answer this.
Yeah, first of all, Ajit, I would like to merge the GitHub repos. We have added the new tokens, and can
Sure.
you do those things?
Yeah,
So we will distribute that GitHub repo to all. So the audience will able to join the with those tokens.
sure.
Yes, go ahead.
So before, like this was like 'cause I heard this concept from the Ajit from 2 weeks or 3 weeks back when we are setting up the Kochi OSCONF. So this will when I heard this, I feel like it's like a crazy things which is going on, because in my life, whenever I spin up the Kubernetes, it's like a GK or EKS kind of stuff, or we'll spin up the private networks, but we haven't thought like we can do it like now the scenario is like I can use my laptop as a worker node in production itself. So that was like I feel like it is a too much crazy kind of stuff. Then we thought like whenever we are joining, like if we are planning to join like thousands node or 500 nodes, whatever nodes are there, then we definitely require the HA kind of stuff, where if anyone want to join that cluster, it should not, master should not go down. So this is what the idea behind. Then we have started like setting up the HA, but we found some issue like exposing of the kubectl Kubernetes on the public IP. So while exposing it to the public IP, we feel like we are able to expose, but there are some issue with the network and some issues with the SSL too. So Ajit, how did we solve this issue? Can you just brief? Like there are a lot of people involved in solving those issues. There are some of the like core contributor and founder of this one PWD and PWK, like Marcos also involved. He's also very excited to do these things.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I can share about it. So before that, when I started looking into it, if you see, like, one of the major, very important component is like a pod network. Okay. Usually what happens when you set up a Kubernetes cluster, you start with some kind of a master and the worker configuration, right? One is master node and one is the worker node. Now inside the master node, you have multiple components which has to be up and run. Okay. So one of the challenge was, when I started looking into it, the first pod network which we used was Veep. Now, when I was talking to one of the developer of the Veep, I could see that there was a limitation. Like the first problem is these pod networks works really great when you are in the private network. But when we talk about the public network, definitely there has to be some kind of a testing which has to be done. And then I found that there is some kind of a limitation around 200 nodes which they have tested, and there were a few of the issues which we found. So for the confirmation, so I went ahead and tried to spin up. So Apurva was also part of it, and soon we saw that when we do a kind of a pod display, we found that few of the Veep networks, they were like failing, right? They were crashing. Then we moved to so when it was happening, right, few of the application like Nginx and all, it was not coming up. Then Marcus was very interested. So Marcus is a founder of PWD and PWK, which is play with Docker and play with Kubernetes. So we just tried to, we went ahead and tried to leverage his skill set on top of it. And he came up with one idea called as a kube router. Okay, so kube router was something which really worked well. It was just a first try, and we went ahead, we tried to build up. And whatever I'm talking about right now is like a single node, single master node. It was nothing to do with the multi-master. Now things were fine. We were even, Hari was there, and he brought few of his Raspberry Pis. We were able to connect. I was planning to do a certain set of, testing around the Raspberry Pi, whether it is able to join or not. Okay. And few of the users, they were also interested to see how the WSL is going to work. But since we have very less time, so we thought that, okay, it will be good if we go ahead and try out the multi-master configuration. Now, when you do a multi-master configuration, one of the challenge was to go ahead and, go through a lot of steps. So Apurva wrote a blog post around 1 year back, and he wrote a blog post on how to set up a multi-master. But I could see that there is a lot of steps which we need to follow. The only thing which I thought that I will go ahead and use some kind of an Ansible script on top of it. The Ansible script, one Ansible script called as kubeadm2, it was something like really powerful, but we didn't have much time to go ahead and troubleshoot with it, because a lot of things were hard coded into it. Especially when you set up a Kubernetes multi-master Kubernetes cluster using any of the Ansible script, just take care of the version, right? It might be built around like 6 months back with 117, and we were on 118. So your the node version has to be match. So these were the few of the challenges. And one of the thing, what happened is, like, we were looking out for a very quick way of setting up the multi-master, and that is the reason when Hari, me, Apurva, we sat together and we tried to evaluated a kind of a product called as K3s, which was again developed by the Alex Ellis. The problem with that tool was you have instead of sharing the token, right, you have to share a kind of an SSH key. Now, as an end user or over the public cloud, people might not be more comfortable sharing the SSH key, and that was the reason we dropped the plan. I just pinged Alex on his OpenFast Slack channel to see like what alternative he has. He reached out to the founder of K3s. But before that, since we had very less time, what we did is, I think that was a time when Minashi came in, and then he was like, he's one of the active contributor for this particular project. So Apurva, Minashi, and then we have Hari. We sat together and then try to, used as an alternative as in Rancher. So Rancher was like, it is something which runs inside the Docker container, and it sets up your multi-master setup. So so maybe like during the course of time, Apurva can help you understand like what are the settings which has been done. But these were like few of the challenges related to the pod networking as well as setting up the multi-master Kubernetes cluster.
Yeah. Thanks, Ajeet.
So when we yesterday we started, like we had done with the setting up the master and all those stuffs, and we have distributed the tokens. And once at the time of, like, I could say at 120 worker nodes or something like that, again we set up the master HA with the this one the Calico one. And again it is getting failed, like in master. When we try to check out from the master node, we come to know that the network pod is getting failed. So so we are not able to add more nodes into the master. And suddenly we came into the call yesterday night, and we are trying to resolve that issue. And once this was done, like after that, again we came on to the morning and checking like how we can solve this problem. So this time Anmol came in picture, and he is informing about his production experience, where he could find that using the Calico in production and resolving those issues, it might be difficult to add more the nodes. Anmol, can you explain some kind of scenario?
Yeah, sure. So basically, when I looked into it, we were using Calico, and with Calico, the major issue was the networking part, where you assign the IPs and they didn't get free up. So they are not getting free up, and when we start adding more nodes, it was getting messed up, due to which end of the day our whole networking layer was kind of very unstable, and we were not able to add more nodes. In terms of productions, like normally when we're using Calico, we have to do some kind of hacky stuff that whenever the spot instances are going down or going up, you have to clean them up on the particular time. If you're not cleaning them up, it will create a networking issue, and after particular some days you will not be able to add more pods to it. So the same thing was happening with us also. That's why we decided, let's move to different Kubernetes cluster, not using the Calico.
Yeah, so while testing of the HM master in the morning, so whole master went down, and we are like in a production scenario where we want to deploy the pods, and at that time we are not able to deploy single application. And then came in a picture like Minashi and his colleague, and we are trying to solve that issue from morning itself, and we could have set it up right now.
Great, Apurva.
Minashi, want to share something, some thoughts around it, like Minashi?
I think he's on mute right now. So let's, Minachi, okay, let's move over to Hari. So I would like to ask Hari, I've seen he's very active in this particular activity, right? Kubezilla, and Hari plus his team. So Hari has a running his own, and he has a team, right? So Hari, I would like to know how you get involved with Kubezilla, and what is your experience, and what your take from here, or what you can share with the audience right now. Hari, you're on mute right now.
I'm sorry, thanks for that. So I represent Alvil Consulting. We've started in 2018. We come with a very diverse background, and our primary revenue model was DevOps. In 2018, we started consulting for many startups which were going for the next funding round, and they wanted to scale. So our background is in monitoring and performance optimization and DevOps and containers. But Kubernetes was something very new to us. I met Ajeet on LinkedIn, and we connected on some IoT stuff and then doing 3D printing. So, it was amazing when I spoke to him. And I got to know about Collabnix and the community he was running. And I saw the number of people over there who were like actively working across many dimensions, not just Kubernetes. But then one day, Ajeet says, hey, I want to build the biggest ever community cluster of 1,000 nodes, and it got me hooked because I wanted to really push Kubernetes to the limits. We've run Kubernetes, I think everybody has run Kubernetes on their laptop or like a couple of nodes and stuff, but then that is not really saying what it's capable of, and I wanted my team to learn. So we are very comfortable with AWS and Docker and like DevOps and site reliability engineering, but I wanted my team to work on this and contribute. And Apurva and Anmol, Minachi, and they were like amazing people who were already good at Kubernetes. And I thought I asked my team to just dedicate to getting this Kubezilla a success, and we have contributing 32 nodes to the community cluster. So yeah, it was amazing experience. I was like just watching people do. And the kind of iterations that we have taken since the last 3 days, we have at least destroyed and recreated master nodes clusters 4 times. And the challenges that we faced was an amazing learning experience. I'm sure my team thinks the same. Yeah, thanks for this opportunity, guys. And I'm glad that we are able to, be there for this time at 2:30 with the cluster running. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, Hari. It was really amazing actually, and as I can hear from you, right, how you met Ajeet, that is what I love about this community, right? So there are multiple platforms where you can connect, and it's not specific to LinkedIn, and one can come from any background and can join, and there are hand of people, right? There are a bunch of people who can help each other, as you said, right, Hari. So Minachi pulled in, Anmol pulled in today, and then we have Darshan. So that's what we love about this, right? So when you are in trouble, there is someone who can help you out to make this happen. And so let's quickly move to I hope Minachi. If Minachi, are you there? Or I'll ask Darshan.
Yeah, I'm there. Hi.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Minachi.
finally I made my mic work. Yeah.
Yeah, Minachi, we'd like to hear your experience, how you came across this community, and you have added your smart device, IoT devices, right? So can you quickly
Yes.
share your experience so that audience will get to know what, if they want to contribute, how can they get, how one can do?
Sure. Yeah. Hi. My name is Meenat Sundaram. So I'm working for Phoenix here in Poland, Warsaw. It's a data center company. So I'm a SRE guy here. I'm managing the Kubernetes environment, cluster management. But when I see, I mean, I was following Ajeet for a long time. I was watching his contribution and everything. But this new Kubezilla idea was very interesting for me. So I thought of started by contributing my IoT device. So first idea came to my mind as I thought of, okay, I never thought that someone will think like creating a multi-node cluster on, it's kind of more than a hybrid, I would say. It's on-prem, it's desktop, it's multi-cloud. This is such a big thing, I would say. No one ever did as of I know. So that's where I thought, okay, let's start my IoT device as well. So I added Raspberry Pi from the initial master we created. So whenever I try successfully, I was able to connect, but we struggled a lot to set up a master. So finally, today, it's kind of a real production environment, I would say, for me. I made it able to connect all the nodes now. I have 2 Raspberry Pi connected and 1 Jetson module connected. So we can use a Jetson module for machine learning thing. So that is something a big one. And right now we reached 84 nodes, and it's kind of a high availability. And we have a Grafana dashboard as well. Hope Ajeet will show you that soon. So I'm really excited and happy to be part of this community.
Great. So yeah, we'll go to demo part quickly after a few minutes to audience. So I just want to cover everyone who has contributed and just want to know how their experiences. So we'll take a couple of more minutes. So I'll talk to Anmol, right? Anmol pulled in today. I think he already described. So Anmol, how was your experience in short? Like, do you think you have? So definitely we have learned a lot. So what about you right now? What do you think?
For me, it was a nice experience. Like I'm already working with multiple clients under CloudRoof. So I'm a founder of CloudRoof, and I'm already working with a lot of clients who are working on hybrid model. So they have their Kubernetes on AWS and they have their data center. So both are connected. But this one kind of really interesting for me. So I'm already in the part of Slack group. I was following Ajeet from long time. And when I saw about this Kubezilla, I was like, okay, I want to contribute. And then I start taking part of it. Like today, once we start actually the stuff, like when it was not working, then we realized, okay, we have to do a lot of things. So it was a great experience for me. And other than like this is, I think this is the only place where you can see like all the kind of your like AWS nodes are there, DigitalOcean nodes are there, IoT devices are there. You can connect your laptop also. So it's a kind of nice experience for me overall.
Yeah, great to hear, Anmol, right? So by hearing everyone, right, everyone is following Ajeet. So Ajeet is the core. I would say like everyone pulls in because of Ajeet. So great thanks to Ajeet. And second to that, everyone is saying they have never felt before like such type of environment, right? So it's a great platform for us. And so I'll just take 1 minute I'll talk to Darshan here. So Darshan also has contributed a lot. Darshan, can you share your experience, like how was debugging and what you felt about that?
Yeah, actually, I'm new to Kubernetes, so I learned a lot of things here. So I have contributed like spinning up EC2 machine and joining to the cluster. I have automated using Terraform. That's the part I've done. So yeah, it was great. It was great to work with these guys.
Great, thanks. So we have seen like there are newcomers who are new to Kubernetes and they have learned a lot, and we saw that we have used Terraform also. So I think we have covered drastically every area. Like we have covered multi-cloud, we have used lots of infrastructure as code, right? Different things. So that's great. Now it's time to show. And so I'll hand over to Ajeet. So Ajeet will go through, Ajeet or Apurva, anyone. They will go over that basically control plane and can demo what we have set up. And anyone has questions, they can throw up in YouTube. and we will happy to answer that. So this is live interaction. So you can throw any basic question, whatever you want to know, just throw it here. We'll take it up. Over to you, Ajeet.
Okay, thank you, Vinay. Thank you all. Okay, so the first thing is like, let me go through the GitHub repo. Can you guys see my GitHub repo here?
Yes, Ajeet.
Okay, fine. First of all, I would like to thank DigitalOcean for sponsoring around. They sponsored some credits to us to set up a multi-master node for HA. So we have a multi-master HA which is already running on a DigitalOcean. Okay, and let me go through. I think I talked about what you need to do. So let me first talk about few of the important things which you need to consider. So even if you go ahead and consider a mini master configuration, you really need to have to take care of what configuration of what should be the computation power, right? So if you go to Collabnix/Kubezilla, so you will get to know all the information about how you have to set up your worker node. Okay, so even though your worker node, it is just like one single Docker command, but there has to be certain firewall ports to be opened. Okay, so as an end user, you really don't have to worry about the master node. All you have to do is go ahead and configure your worker node. Okay, so let me pick up one of the configuration here. So this is I believe this is visible. So the first thing is, say right now I am on my one of the instance of my Google Cloud platform, and all you need to do is just do the curl command. Maybe if you are on a Docker desktop, the thing which you see here, let me show me. Okay, let me stick to this first. So if you are on any of the Linux machine, all you have to do is use get.docker.com/nsh. So you just have to run this particular script. Okay, and this script will get you the Docker installed. So since I have already run this, and that is the reason, all you have to do is sudo docker version, and it should install both server and client. So at this point of time, I have very latest 1903.12, which is installed on my Google instance. But the same command is going to work across the Linux machine. So even if you're talking about Debian, Ubuntu, for Red Hat and CentOS, you need to go ahead and configure the repository. But if you are on a Debian or Ubuntu system, this is going to help you out. Okay, so once you go ahead and install this, you just have to go ahead and run this particular command. So let me show you how it works. So if you go to Collabnix/Kubezilla, just scroll down a bit. Here you are going to, let me show you here. I think I skipped it. So this is all the information which you see here. So right now, if you see the instruction, there is a column called like, how shall I join my worker node? Okay, so you don't have to worry about the master node. All you have to do is set up a worker node. So this is what we ran earlier, and all you have to do is pick up this particular command, docker run -n privilege -net host, and there are few of the mount points. And this is something which is running here, right? success.kubezilla.com. If I pick this up and go here, you will see that this is like my master node, which is running. This is one of the Rancher instances. It's running on the Rancher instance. So let me go back. Okay, so you have to just pick up this, and this is a token, right? You don't have to make any changes because it is going to work. The best part would be if you can label it up so that once you are joining it, you can go back to the Rancher UI and track your node, right? The name. So that is the reason why we have added the name. So here I'm adding a name as a Kubezilla. Okay. So the same command, you have to go here and run the command. So once you run this command, let me clear up and say docker ps, you are going to see that there are a couple of the pods which are coming up. Now Once you add this node, there will be like a rancher container which will be running. But since we have started the Nginx service on top of our Kubernetes cluster, you will see a lot of pods based on your node capacity, right? So let me go to the rancher UI and show you. So once, all you have to do is go to the success.kubezilla.com. So this is the site name, success.kubezilla.com. And once you get into it, I think all you have to do is use a username and password as a Kubezilla, and you should be able to look at the node. So if you see here, let me click on one of the cluster. Okay, let me make it a little larger. Okay, fine. So you will see this is a kind of a rancher, since we have implemented, this is a rancher UI, which you will see. And if you see here, this is my node, Collabnix 1, which I have added. And this is an IP address, the private IP address of the GCP. So it tracked it at this point of time, it is active. So I just added a few minutes back. That is the reason it is showing. There are a couple of Docker desktop, which you can see here. And then based on the name, there are a lot of, I would say, look like a PWK instances, but again, it could be anything. You can see the number of nodes here, right? A different version of the Kubernetes clusters. So you can see here, it is showing the cores, how much RAM, and then how many pods, all this information, which you can see it out here. Let me show you a few of the fancy stuff, because so the thing is, first step was to go ahead and set up the master node. The other thing which you can do is I can still go to the try dashboard stuff. Okay, if I click on try dashboard, it will give you like a kind of fancy dashboard where you can see the number of pods and then a lot of information about the CPU. So if you see here, at this point of time, we have 84 nodes which has been added. Like these are like massive. Okay, and if you look at the pods, you can look at the pods which are like 434 pods which are up and running. Yeah. Apurva, you were saying something?
Yeah, if you check with the nodes, some are Raspberry Pi, some are from desktop also, some are Docker desktop. Like it's like a crazy stuff. If you check the number of pod that we can spinning up, it's around 9.2. I don't know how much it is.
Okay, so the actual one you're talking about. Okay, this is the shared one. Okay, yeah, they might.
I have shared the URL and password of this rancher dashboard, where if you are trying to join your worker node, you can go and check it out on this dashboard, where you can see your worker nodes has been adding to your adding to the master cluster.
Okay.
Okay, so you're saying that audience, if they want to check, they can go to your
worker node. You go and just check onto your dashboard. So there are some couple of things which is spinning up on your machines where you are running the rancher, and those events, Kubernetes events, you can see on this dashboard itself.
Okay, so let me pick up few of the workloads. Let me see the workloads which are running. So if you see here, I have an EFK cluster which is running here. I have a Grafana which is running on 31010. Then you have a Prometheus 2 which is running on this. Then the namespace.
The Grafana dashboard also, where you can go and check it out, the pods and the health of this cluster.
Okay, Apurva, do you mind, like, can you go ahead and share it, because maybe you should be having the password for this.
Yeah, I have pasted that things in a chat window.
Okay, you have shared it. Yeah, share it to me.
Okay.
Okay, let me see.
I mean, Apurva, you're talking about the Grafana dashboard?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. In Zoom chat, you can see Ajeet. You can open the Zoom chat. There is a read user, so you can see the read user.
Okay, the Kubezilla one.
Yeah, and the IP.
I have just pasted on this Zoom chat also. The URL.
Minashi, do you want to show that? I will just stop my share.
Yeah, go ahead, Minashi or Apurva, you can share your screen.
Minashi, you just go ahead.
Yeah. So you guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the rancher UI. So I'm seeing a few nodes are still getting added. If I want to see the total number of nodes, I can see total is 85. So 85 nodes are getting added. And there is a Grafana dashboard. So this is where I can see the cool stuffs of our cluster.
Meenakshi, what's can you show the Grafana deployment where I can see this IP and port so that people will not think that
yeah, it is not separate. So okay, that's correct. So Rancher gives the cool feature to deploy the apps. So apps is basically the Helm deployment. They have the list of libraries. You can use your own Helm library, similar to how you deploy your Helm. You have the kubeconfig file. If you go to the cluster, you will get your kubeconfig file. Since this is admin, I'm not showing it right away. So this kubeconfig file you can download, and you can spin up any Helm charts, or you can regular deployment you can do. But in case of the existing one, if I want to show, the Rancher is built in with lots of cool apps. We have lots of library apps. So out of which we have deployed few. One is EFK, Prometheus, Grafana, and Traffic for our load balancing. So Prometheus is a daemons. So it's running on all the nodes, and this red color is basically my nodes. These are Raspberry Pi where this Prometheus Docker image is not suitable, so it is not running. So we can ignore that for now. But so you can see this Grafana, right? This is a 31010 port number. We haven't mapped it to the ingress, so that's why we are using a node port here. So if I can see this Grafana thing, it is running in one of our master nodes. So I'm using this IP and 31010 as support number. I have logged in already, so let's see if it is asking.
Yeah, so you have deployed like a daemon set. So once any new worker node has been added to the cluster, it will start deploying that node exporter on that machine, and I could see that health of that machine on the Grafana dashboard, right?
Yes. I should have seen. Let me. Okay. Now I can see this. So 78. I mean, it was it is getting added slowly. I mean, based on the metrics we receive, it is adding. Initially, I see 40. After 2-3 minutes, it added 78. So if you give for a few more minutes, you will see the complete list of nodes. So the complete list we have is 87. Still people are adding. That's cool. So we can see, and here we can see the number of replicas, total CPU utilization of this cluster, and total pods pending, still running. Total pods running, we see 785 pods are running, and other few steps. Apurva, you added any other dashboard? Means you can share your screen. This is one. This is one dashboard, and we can add a n number of dashboard to the Grafana cluster. And if I want to filter for nodes, if I can filter my Jetson. Yeah. So I filtered for Jetson. I can see now one node, and I can see the metrics for that node. So
yeah, looks cool.
That way I can filter for Raspberry Pis. RPI.
Yeah,
okay, I need to know the node name actually.
Yeah. I'm not able to scrape the Raspberry Pi, right?
Maybe can you just add maybe RPI should work?
RPI star, yes, that should work. Okay, I mean, if I want to find it.
It's RPI 1. Maybe you can
Okay. That's right, actually. Judson is running this Prometheus metrics, but our Raspberry Pi, as I mentioned earlier, it is not running. That's why we are not seeing the Raspberry Pi. In Raspberry Pi, we don't have this image support for Prometheus yet. We need to customize our image and we can deploy the Prometheus. That's one of the reasons we are not seeing the Raspberry Pi. If I put cloud or what is it?
Maybe we need to check, because the thing is, image type for both will be the same, because it will be an ARM based.
Okay, I can see the Collabnix, yeah. So Raspberry Pi is not available because it is an ARM based one and we don't have the Docker Prometheus yet actually. That's the reason we are not able to see.
Yeah.
Can you just go to the rancher
for
dashboard and show how many people are from different, with the help of labels or something, we can find it out how many people has been joined from the different like desktop or Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that.
So I see one desktop, Docker desktop is successfully running. I guess this is Ajeet's, right?
Yes.
So then everyone is using the label cloud, so it's difficult to filter. Okay, I see Cloud Bro. There is a different team, and
I suspect if Apurva is using Looker instances.
40 nodes of Cloud Bro has been running.
No, in the morning also I have tried like spinning, try to join my desktop, but again my laptop is getting getting hot, and I could find it. It will get destroyed.
Okay, we see two from Kumaresan, VTech. So different people are connecting. I guess this is not AWS, because mostly I guess AWS starts with IP nodes.
Yeah.
So we have AWS nodes, we have GCP nodes, we have IoT devices, so and desktop to mention again. So we are able to connect desktop to the production cluster.
So as a user, if I can browse it out, I can check my node, right? Once I've added here.
Yes, you can see we have the read dashboard. So you can log in and you can search for your nodes here. And
Yeah, so
there is a new
audience,
feature in Rancher we see is a try dashboard. This is something new for us as well.
Yeah, so the audience who are adding, they can go and browse their nodes and happily can see whether it's added or not. And they can also go around or play around that it's in read. You have a read permission, right? So you can check it out, what all nodes we have added, and can see the fun, right? As said, we have different sort of
Right.
nodes here.
Right. And if I want to deploy some simple deployment, I can go to the workload. I mean, basically you can import an YAML. If you have the Kubernetes YAML, you can deploy from the Kubernetes command line, or you can import an YAML, or there is a UI feature where you choose Nginx. I mean, Nginx is easy for me to deploy. So I'm deploying Nginx, and I will say 100 pods.
Okay.
Okay. So they all are coming up and they are running in different. I see Jetson here.
So Vinay, just to answer your question, right? So usually what will happen for a general user, right? They won't be able to go ahead and make the changes. All they have to do is you have to go to success.kubezilla.com and then log in with Kubezilla as a user and Kubezilla as a password. Once you log in, it will be just like a read-only dashboard where they can see whether their nodes has been connected or not.
I can log out and log in with Kubezilla username.
Yeah, you can show.
I deployed 100 paths. By the time we log in, we should see all the 100 paths running. So I go to the default namespace. You can create a namespace as you do in. So I guess 96 is already there. So soon this will be coming up as well. So we are reaching 100 soon on paths. This is just an example I showed you. So Ajeet, back to you.
Yeah, so
thanks.
Yeah, I think we have answered most of the query.
Yeah, so Ajeet, So people are asking like, so this cluster will be, how long we are going to keep this cluster? They can try it out in coming days.
It will be live by the end of the day,
Okay.
because we really need to see. But again, if there has been more and more community members, they come in and they are more interested because it's weekend. So definitely we can extend it till tomorrow evening and try to see if we can get more number of nodes added.
Okay. So yeah, once they can add, they can join the community and can update there. So accordingly, we can take a call whether how long we can stretch it out, right?
Yes.
Great.
So I could say it's not the end. It's just the beginning. So we are trying to set up a big cluster once again, and we do not find like we are running out of time. This is why we have just chosen a rancher or something like that. But we definitely want to do this big again, and with some kind of application where I can go and check and I can put the load on the onto the deployment, where I want to see the horizontal HPA or pod scaling or something like that, and I could see that application in UI itself.
Great, Apurva. I think we can take it up in the next conference, right? We can make it a little bigger. And that is how, like, it's a first step stone. And definitely we can take it further, and then we can show different, different scenarios, or we can make it a little larger. What you said is right. It's just the start of that. Just for today, so people can come and join. So I just want to know, like, from any of you, like, what you want to suggest to people, like, when they want to set up their cluster. So we have seen lots of today hiccups, right? So in nutshell, if you want to say what they have to take care before setting up cluster and what they have to keep in mind. So if, like, from infrastructure side and from debugging side. So in short, anyone can explain that. That will be great for them to know.
Maybe Vinay, I can go ahead and talk about especially on a few of the things which I have added in Kubezilla. So Kubezilla.com is a domain which I recently bought, and the reason was completely for. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So it is like a website where it's more like an improved version of Kube Labs. So the whole idea is, before you get into a Kubernetes, you really need to know the concept of Kubernetes. Okay. So that is the reason, if you see here, you get a lot of access to the free Kubernetes hands-on labs here. Okay, where you can see the pods 101, replica set 101, deployment 101. So there is a lot of community effort which has gone into it. And what I'm trying to do here is, with the community going forward, right? I will try to create a platform where people can come here. They can start from 101. They can move to 201, then 301 into the advanced level. Because Docker labs have been really helpful in terms of, how to start for the beginners, intermediate, and the advanced version. So if you go to Kubernetes, learn Kubernetes fundamentals in 10 hours, you just click on it and you can just start with, like, the whole idea is, taking it to, like, in first hour, you need to go ahead and get introduced to Kubernetes, what Kubernetes is, how the architecture is, okay? Because before knowing this, directly jumping into the Kubernetes is not going to help you out, because there are so many moving components. And one suggestion which I had for a general public, right, who wants to really get started is, there are hundred of tools which are available in the market, okay? But you should know about KubeADM, how it works. And that is the reason, the Kelsey Hightower, the hard way of learning, right? Kubernetes has to come into the picture, because there could be a lot of tools like Terraform or KOps, but before that, we really need to understand what is the underlying technology which is building the Kubernetes. And this is a side where there is a lot of work to be done, still to be done, but you can go to, the very systematic approach, which shows you about, first it talks about the architecture, second, how you can set it up on PWK environment, maybe like any of the 3 nodes or 5 nodes Kubernetes cluster. So this is something which we already have done in the term in terms of workshop, but to keep all the community, we should have something where people wanted to get started, and we should point out to this. So I would suggest either you can visit our kubelabs.collabnix.com or Kubezilla. So here you will see a lot of ultimate hands-on labs, which talks about GKE, Docker Desktop for Mac, Pods 101, Replica Set 101, and then you have all those. And these contributions are nothing which is done by me, but by the community. So we have a lot of contributors like Apurva is there, like he has been a very active contributors, right? You can see the names while you scroll down, but you can get started with all the 101s here. You can say the stateful set, daemon set, and this is one way. And the approach is, how it works is, if you go to Pods 101, there will be a kind of a slide deck, okay, which talks about what is pod deployment, multi-container, pod networking, all of those, and it is very simple, in a simple way, so that soon after these slides you can jump into deploying your first Nginx pod. So so I would say for any beginner who wants to go ahead and get started, it is really it's needed that either you follow you can also follow official Kubernetes document, but if you feel like there are so many information there, maybe you can come here, and we as a community are improving it day by day. There are a lot of pull requests which I have been getting for this. Definitely this could be one of the place where we will dump all the CKA, CKAD stuffs, so that it will help you in preparing for the certification too. So that's the whole plan.
Yeah, it sounds great, Ajeet. So yeah, so as you said, right, for a beginner to go over that kubezilla.com, where he can find from scratch to little advanced level, they can learn everything here. It's a one pit stop, and yeah, they can actively part. As said, we are always says we are open in community, and they can come and throw their queries. I can see people are asking, so we should come up with the FAQs around this, what activity we have done, and we should document. And I think it's in your plan. Maybe you should you will be coming up some blog, or maybe you'll be some documenting somewhere over the GitHub, so people don't have to worry about that. So I think that will answer their questions. And I said, like, they can join the community and then can post their questions, and there are bunch of people who can answer them very frequently, and so solve the issues. I think we are near to end to what we want to show in Kubezilla very first. That is the very beginning of that. So definitely we will be continuing this effort in coming conferences, and people can see lots of interesting stuff, maybe different vendors, and this cluster will grow up. What we're trying to target to thousands, multiple thousands, and definitely we'll reach to that. So Ajeet, would you like to add anything else to Kubezilla, or else?
Hey Vinay, this is Sujay here.
Yeah, please.
I just had a question. Maybe Ajeet or Apu can answer. So, like Ajeet, when you mentioned about Swarmzilla, if you remember, at the end of Swarmzilla project, the data which was collected during that, it was shared among the community members. There was a nice blog written around it. So during this Kubezilla project, would there be any such activity, like the data being aggregated and then having a nice report around it, how the cluster behaved during this addition of nodes?
Yeah, Sujay. First of all, thanks for joining. So yes, there is a plan, and I am going to sit with the community members who have been actively involved, and like, you can expect a kind of a very lengthy blog post with all the challenges and how we did it. And let me tell you one thing, the next plan is taking Kubezilla to KubeCon. So that is being planned, and most probably if the whole community comes together, we are going to go ahead, create a CFP, and then let's make it happen.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. So
I would like to give a shout out to Apurva, Anmol, and Meenakshi for the ownership that they've taken in making this happen so far. Because I was seeing them working, and yeah, I just wanted to say thanks, and yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's a big shout out to as I said, right? We have a production like scenario, and everybody, like I will say, without benefit, they have contributed day and night in this activity. That's what I love about this community. When you talk about community, so people are learning; they're not getting anything from here, but yeah, they are just getting the knowledge, and they are contributing their time endlessly. So big shout out to every individual who has contributed. If sorry for that if we miss anyone name, but yes, so everybody here has done a tremendous job and make this happen. Yeah, so Ajeet, over to you, and then we'll have final note from Savita to end this conference.
Yeah, sure. So I would like to thank, I would say, each and every member who have been involved into it. I think we have been planning it out, but one of the good thing which has happened is since it all started around like, I would say not even 1 month back, but there has been a lot of people who have been based on, I do understand that right now because of the COVID situation, most of us are like quite busy and there is a lot of work pressure, which we could see when you work from home, definitely. But people have been reaching out, and whenever I ping them, they reach out to me for help, and it has been quite supportive. I would really want to mention about Apurva, who has been quite supportive into it. Minashi is one who has been pinging me since long time for adding a Raspberry Pi, but he did a tremendous job. And especially Hari, it's like very strange to see, to such kind of energy when you have a team, you have a company which you have to run and all those things. So all the thanks to you guys. And I want to also thanks to Savita. It was just like one day before I reached out to her and she had no clue what to do. So all this information, thanks to Vinay, to you, to sharing all the information, and especially Dijesh from Kochi. So he has been quite active in, he built basically the website for OSCONF. So Dijesh, thanks to you. And thanks to all the community members too, who has been especially on the speakers. They are in the different reason. Thanks to Sujay. I know I'm missing the names, but equally thanks to each one of you over a YouTube or over the Zoom channel. Thanks a lot.
Great, thanks. I think over to Savita. Savita, you can have a closing note, and then we are done for the today. Yeah, cheers.
I would like to thank all of you for your active participation and open dialogue. We look forward to continuing beyond this event, the very stimulating and instructive exchange of ideas we had today. The trust that you will take home further inspiration on how to foster the necessary changes, I certainly will appreciate and express my gratitude to all in making this event a successful one. Thank you. A big shout out for everyone. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Great. So on closing note, we are going to wrap up this conference. So yeah, thanks guys.